In April of 1980, I was down there feeding fish. That's one of the things that I do there, is take care of the fish and feed them. And there was a young man named John Brassell who was working there with me, and he was feeding at one pond. And I walked over to the pond above where he was feeding. As I got up there, there was at least a dozen or more fish laying all over the lawn. My first thought was a bunch of teenagers came in during the night and really raised havoc here, and I was pretty ticked off about it. And I called John up and I said, "Look at this, John," and we was looking around, and pretty soon we spotted these tracks, barefoot tracks. It had been raining a lot in April, and it had been raining for 2 or 3 days, so the ground was really quite wet. But here was these tracks that had sunk way down deep in the ground. We got down and got looking at them, and it was bare feet. And we looked at it and measured it, and it was 14 inches long. So we know that wasn't a human that did that. And so then we decided, well, let's call the North Ogden Police. They sent an officer over. We called the Fish and Game. A man by the name of Ralph Blotter from the Fish and Game came. He brought Plaster Paris with him to pull a cast. And the neighbors heard about it. They came over. Even Earl Henninger from Weber High School heard about it. He came over there, and Earl's a big guy. And Earl took his shoe off and jumped up and down right beside of that Bigfoot track, and he couldn't even hardly leave a print there. And then when Ralph pulled the cast and pulled it out of the ground, why, he wrapped it in a towel and ran to his truck real fast. He wasn't even going to show it to us, but we all followed him really fast and got over there, and we took pictures of the cast. And the Fish and Game kept the cast for about 2 years, and I kept calling them up and saying, "Hey, you got that on my place? I want that cast." They kept saying, "We're studying it, we're studying it." Finally, after a couple of years, I was able to get it back, and so now I have the cast. I have a lot of good friends that believe me, but somebody that doesn't know me real well, they're a little skeptic. And right at first, when I first seen one, my people I worked with would say, "What you been drinking? You know, what was you on when you?" But they know me good enough to know that I'm not telling a big story. I tell the truth. I'm quite open about it, but I know other people that have seen them, and they keep it quiet. They don't want to tell, and they don't want it to ridicule. But I have evidence too. That cast of the Bigfoot, where he got my fish at the fish farm, I can show that to them and say, "Can you stick your toes in the ground that far?" I can't tell you what it is, but I know there's one. It's just a big hairy creature that walks on 2 legs and goes all over the world, apparently.